Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I have a little bit different of a view out here. I just left the meeting, so I'm just sitting at a park that's a little bit down the street from my house. And the weather's starting to change for fall, so I'm very festive. Now that I live in Colorado, I have this more festiveness to me. But what I want to talk about today is how to set goals when it comes to OCD recovery, how to set goals when it comes to anxiety recovery, and how to set goals with just life in general. If it's a little windy in this video, I'm sorry about that. We'll see how it works out. And if it's too windy, then we'll just scrap the video. So when I was going through OCD recovery, and even in my life now, I think it's important to have goals for yourself. And inside those goals, you want to look at things from a realistic perspective. I just left a meeting at my buddy's house where we spent about an hour talking about things that all three of us could work on. It was me, my buddy Drew, and his buddy Jesse. And we did the 2-minute rule, which I got from Ray Dalio, terrific book, Principles, where we spent some time going around and saying, what are some things that we think we need to work on? What are some things that the other person needs to work on? And the hardest part about this exercise is the vulnerability needed to have other people give you their opinion on what they think you need to work on, because no one can look at themselves inside a vacuum. Other people see you in certain ways that you don't see yourself. That is a very, very important factor to realize when you're actually working on OCD recovery. Now, let's look at some of the beginning goals. Let's start with beginning goals when it comes to OCD. The very start of, what do I do? So, goal number 1 is getting back to work if that's where you need to be. If you're avoiding work and you're not going to work, you have to go back to work, okay? Because work is great. You can derive meaning from it. And even if it's not the perfect job, there's no such thing as the perfect job, you could still actually build this up over time. That is so key. The second thing is looking at everything that you're avoiding in your life. Make a list. Be honest with yourself. Are you avoiding social settings? Are you avoiding reading the books on the reading list? Are you avoiding facing those biggest exposures? Are you avoiding trying to change? Those are the big things that I need to work on too. Those were very, very, very critical. The third thing that you really want to look at is, what is your education like on OCD itself? And I don't mean that the neurology or the hormones or anything like that. I mean, looking at it from the perspective of, these are the things that other people who have been where I want to go have looked at and done. And what are the things that I'm doing wrong? And how is my understanding on OCD? Do I understand relapse? Okay. Do I understand backdoor spikes? Do I understand why OCD tends to morph? Do I understand what they mean by wearing anxiety like an uncomfortable coat? Do I understand all of those different things? And then once you have an analysis, not in an OCD way, but you have an analysis of the things that you aren't working on, that's where you start to deduct and do them one at a time. So let's look at goal number 1, reading the books on the reading list. So first, you can find them at OCDrecovery.com underneath the resource tab. Now we have How to Stubbornly Refuse, okay? The book is terrific for showing you how to break down beliefs. It's very emotive with a lot of exercises. Book number 2, Self-Help for Your Nerves. A practical book about how to wear anxiety, how to wear it like an uncomfortable coat, let it float, let it be there, let it linger in the background. Book number 3, The Myth of Self-Esteem, a terrific book. That book helps show people, okay, these are my belief systems on conditional acceptance, okay? These are my belief systems on conditional self-acceptance. People think, in order to be happy, I have to have X. X equals Y. But that's not true, because there's an infinite amount of aspects of that. What we want to do is break this down with unconditional acceptance. Book number 4, Man's Search for Meaning. Man's Search for Meaning is on the reading list because it helps drive great perspective on suffering, the meaning from suffering, and how people can apply that to their life, okay? That's a terrific thing. Book number 5 is my favorite book on the reading list, At Last, a Light by Paul David. I always enjoy a good book written by an anxiety sufferer who's been in the trenches. Terrific book, terrific metaphors and analogies, and just a funny read overall. Just a good read, lots of punchy points. And book number 6, Marcus Aurelius' Meditation for Stoicism. Book number 6 is not the most important book on the reading list. Books 1 through 5 are very important. So asking yourself, are you reading these books? Setting yourself some goals of reading. I'm going to read 30 minutes a day no matter what. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you have to sleep 7 hours a day to read those books, read it. You have one life. Put the work in. Do what's required. You don't have to work on recovery all day long, 24/7, but you got to put more work in than you're probably doing. Number 2, avoidance. What are the things that you're avoiding in your life? You just scared the crap out of me. What are the things when I'm in the zone and I'm talking? It's probably like, what is this kid talking about? What is OCD? what are the things that you're avoiding? Okay, so being serious about these things. Are you avoiding work? Are you avoiding your exposures? How can you build a hierarchy for yourself? What does your low frustration tolerance look like? Are you constantly picking your nails? I always used to pick my nails. I never even used to have nails, actually. See that one right there? So I have psoriasis. That's why my nail looks all weird. You look at it from the side. Look at it. It's all pitted. Yeah, I have psoriasis. Here, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. There we go. Yeah, so got psoriasis. There's a little story about myself. A little off topic, but it's important to go off topic every once in a while. So are you facing those avoidance behaviors? What are your low frustration tolerances like? Write them down, look at them, and systematically tackle them over a long period of time, okay? Goal number 3, are you actually becoming healthier? Are you balancing your nutrition? Are you not eating out every single meal? Are you going to the gym? Are you doing those things? Those things matter a lot more than we think. You don't have to be compulsive about it. You don't have to turn into David Goggins or, Nims from the documentary 14 Peaks or these world-class climbers. But having some balance is key. 3-4 days a week. If you like more than that, go more than that. If you want to go 2 days a week, that's fine. But doing something to build that frustration tolerance. Nutrition. You don't have to go crazy, all the health tips and tricks and talk about clean eating. Just balance, okay? Are you eating in general? Many people shut down when they're anxious. They don't even want to eat. Other people compulsively binge when they're hungry. So there needs to be a balance. Humans are so good at bouncing one way to another, and they go inside that extreme pendulum swinging. But that's not good for us either. It's really important to actually break that down. So those are really the 3 types of main goals that I like to look at. Now let's actually go into goals I set for myself. How do I set goals in my life? Well, for a long time, I wrote goals down, but there was no reflection, and they really were dog shit in the way how I went about it. Now, recently, I have monthly goals. Well, I've had business goals and career goals for a while that I do check up on monthly and compare, but I never really reflected. Now, what I do is, what I did last month, I had September goals. I wrote 10 September goals, personal goals, hiking goals, exercise goals, other small compulsive behavior goals that I might be partaking in if I'm drinking too much caffeine. Not in the compulsive way like, oh, stop drinking it, but sometimes I drink a pre-workout and 3 coffees. I mean, I love caffeine. I love the taste of black coffee. Yeah, I'm a black coffee drinker. Listen, the Jersey's gonna come out. If you drink anything but black coffee, you gotta get out of here. But no, coffee's amazing. And I look at them and then I reflect. Speaking to Erica in a calm, reasonable, rational tone if we're in a disagreement. Speaking to Rob in a calm, reasonable tone if we're in a disagreement. So those are the things I like to look at. And I analyze them. And what I did yesterday, because it's October 2nd, I looked at those goals and I reflected on those goals. And I made X's and check marks. Did I do it well? Did I not do it so well? What could I improve on? Then I make my new goals for October. Sometimes I carry goals over. I might do that, or I write completely new goals. If things are going well, I continue doing them. Maybe I had a goal that I had for 3 months because I thought it was more instilled. I took it off my goal list because you can't have every single goal written down. I mean, there's so many goals in life. I tend to stick with the big ones or, things that are really bothering me or I think that are affecting my life negatively. And I go about them with that. And that's how I systematically break those down. Now, my life goals in my business or my career are relating around finances. How are my spending habits? Stuff like that. Taking the reflection is the hardest part because inside the reflection of a goal, you have to take an honest assessment about what your goals look like. After you take an honest assessment about what your goals look like, then you actually have to go about making the changes necessary. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really like these educational format videos. I also really like being out in a different setting. I'm actually gonna walk back to my car. I got my tripod in my hand, so I'll carry this as we walk back. That wind is it's pretty nice. I also like wearing these thermals. I think they're really good. These thermals, oh my gosh, I just blanked out. Anyway, I have a bunch of shirts like this. So if you have any questions on goals or maybe something that you want to talk about goal related, just shoot me a message in the chat box and we can go about it from there. But I think it is really important to actually go about, writing your goals down and taking them seriously and taking an honest assessment about the goals that you're not working on and going from there. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or you want to ask about webinars or coaching services, please email info@ocdrecovery.com and we have a bunch of stuff coming out. Thank you so much as always and have a great day.